Really appreciate everybody coming out and the type of support that we got. 102,000 from what I understand in the stadium. So, can't thank the community and the alumni and the fans and the students for the type of support that we get. It's nothing like I've been a part of in my career. So I'm very, very appreciative, and I know our team and coaches are as well. So for the game, we talked all week long about playing a complete game, for 4 quarters, playing well in all 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams. And I thought we did that. That's a team that took Wisconsin, had a lead in the 4th quarter on the road. So I think that was valuable for us to talk to our team about and be able to show them that on tape. And I think offensively, I would have liked to see us run the ball a little bit better. Not having man in there, I think affected us a little bit in the run game. But once again, we were able to get the ball to Saquon in the passing game, and I think we all see, obviously the type of player that he is. Defensively, I think obviously you'd love for us to be a more suffocating defense where, they don't run the ball and they don't, throw the ball for the little dinks and dunks down the field. But the most important thing is we're keeping people out of the end zone. We've done that really now for 3 weeks. I've been very, very pleased, not giving up big plays on defense and keeping people out of the end zone. So I've been very, very impressed with that. And then again, special teams, I think over the last year and a half is probably the area we've improved the most in the program. We've invested in it, and we're really getting a lot of return on our investment right now. Couldn't be more pleased. Obviously having Saquon as a return man on kickoff, that was a great way to start the game. And then obviously, DeAndre's just been, fantastic as a punt returner. Even tonight, where their scheme was to use the low angle punt, which are hard to get returns on. So, I'm pleased overall. There's a bunch of stats and numbers down here I can go over, but the most important thing is we came out, we played a complete game. We got a bunch of players in the game and gained valuable experience. We'll enjoy this for less hours than normal. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? 11:20. So enjoy this for 34 minutes and then start focusing on the next opponent. Open up to questions.
James, after 3 games, what questions have been answered and what questions do you still have?
Yeah, I think consistently being able to stop the run, create a little bit more 3 and outs. The turnovers were huge today. Whenever you get 5 turnovers on defense, and you don't turn the ball over on offense, that's a recipe for success. But I'd like us to be a little bit more physical, stopping the run. But again, it's hard to be critical of a shutout. I think overall, we played well. People are getting the ball out of their hands pretty quickly against us, kind of throwing the ball into the flat or in the seams, real quick. So you'd love to see a little bit more sacks again, but again, that's the style of offense that we're seeing. People are RPOs or getting the ball out quickly. So that would probably be the one thing I'd say on defense. On offense, I think we got to consistently be able to run the ball a little bit better. We got to sustain our blocks longer, and then special teams. I think we just have to continue to refine what we're already doing. So overall, pleased. The experience that we gained today and the depth that we're creating is going to be helpful for us long term.
Good evening.
Good evening. Is that salmon?
I don't know what it is.
It's very nice.
Yeah. I'm stopping traffic later.
Very nice.
Directing traffic. Saquon, did you see the touchdown? Did you get a good look at the catch? Number 1.
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
The touchdown, his touchdown. Did you get a chance to see it on video, or that the extra burst of speed he had around midfield and it looked like he was cornered? Does he ever cease to amaze you with some of the things that he does? And secondly, do you feel like Trace threw the ball better today?
Yeah, I thought Trace definitely threw the ball better. Saquon he's just got so many tools. You talk about a 230-pound guy that can make you miss, can run you over, and then can burst, up the sideline. 2 years ago he said he wanted to get faster. He worked on that. finish runs off last year, and this year I think, in open space, I can't imagine that there's a more explosive, dangerous player in space than him. So the thing that makes Saquon Barkley special though is, there was nobody more excited on our sideline, and there was nobody, coming up to me and Joe throughout the game, more excited and wanting to get Yuri on the field. That was the thing probably he was most excited about, is getting Yuri a carry tonight. So he's a special guy in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I stopped being surprised or amazed kind of a while ago with him.
James, we heard so much this offseason about the more aggressive approach your secondary wanted to take. Through 3 games, is the results, pass breakups, interceptions, exceeded what you expected or met what you expected with that increased activity?
I would say about what we expected. I still feel like sometimes, on the perimeter, we give people probably too much credit, and I think, we give up the easy speed out or hitch, where I think, we can hang in there. We got some corners that can run. We really do, and I think sometimes we play a little bit softer than we need to. And I'm even talking about deep thirds and things like that, deep quarters. But again, overall, very good. To see Castro Fields get in there and make a play on the ball with his length, very similar to what Amani did a few weeks ago. To see Marcus get a turnover tonight, which is awesome. That was probably one of the few question marks. You talked about questions earlier. Marcus has been, I think, one of the better field generals in the country in terms of getting our defense lined up and making adjustments, and then one of the more physical safeties in the country. So to see him, get an interception tonight and almost return it for a touchdown, really happy for him and our defense, obviously.
James, you mentioned the experience. You're able to get a lot of guys on the field. Can you describe how much it helps a Castro Fields, a Yetur? Even Tommy Stevens playing a good bit of quarterback and throwing, but how much does that actual game experience help him in the long haul?
Well, I think it helps our veteran players. I think get Jason Cabinda and Marcus Allen and Trace and Saquon and Kasicki off the field. Getting them time to go out there and play and compete, and then get them out off the field. That's going to help us next week, dramatically. That's going to help us, later in the season. But then, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt when you're able to get guys a bunch of reps in the third quarter, not just the fourth quarter, is really valuable. I talk about it not only from a player development standpoint, but I also make the argument of having a healthy locker room. The more guys that you have involved that you're able to watch tape with on Sunday and grade their tape and grade their performance, it's valuable. It's really valuable. See Ike get in there tonight and get a tackle for loss. That stuff is awesome, because I preach it all the time, the importance of every single person in our program. It doesn't matter what their role is. Their role is critical. Their role is critical to our success. So see a bunch of guys that work so hard during the week to have the opportunity to get on the field and compete and contribute is awesome, and what it's all about.
Time for 2 more. Josh.
Hey, James. I think, as far as the end of the game, you're obviously going to have a few critics about deciding to call the timeout right before the field goal. Just curious if you could walk us through that decision and how important it was to, secure that shutout.
Really, that had nothing to do with it. It had to do with, we had our 4th team on the field, and we don't have a 4th team field goal block. They didn't even really know how to get lined up with the mix and match guys that we had in there, so we called timeout to get the 2nd team field goal block in there. And that's just kind of how it played out, to be honest with you.
So it wasn't like trying to ice him or anything like that?
I just answered your question.
Just wanted to clarify.
I'm being as clear as I possibly could be.
James, what went into Will Fries getting the start tonight? And without watching the film, how do you think he did? And 2-parter, do you have any concerns with Torrance Brown that maybe this could be something longer term?
Yeah, it was great that Will Fries got the first start of his career. He's been typically a tackle for us, and he moved into offensive guard. Brendan Mann is a big-time player for us and is going to have a significant role as the season moves on, and anticipate having impact this week. That's about as far as I'll go with it. Torrance Brown, as you guys know, we don't ever talk about those things. But I know he just broke the team down in the locker room and he was out in the second half. So obviously we're hopeful that he'll be available next week.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.